This meeting is being recorded.
3 years ago, at the age of 15, my family moved to Canada. Online learning was my reality in this new place. A computer screen stood between me and the chance to make new friends, to feel like I belonged here. After several long months, I finally got the chance to attend my new high school in person. I didn't know any of my classmates. I didn't know what anyone would look like or what they would sound like. I was anxious and afraid. Would there be anyone at all like me? I was a stranger, navigating unfamiliar hallways with unfamiliar faces. Days turned into weeks. Loneliness came over me and echoed through every class. It seemed like my dreams of a vibrant high school experience were slipping away. And then, one day, an announcement on the PA.
Hey PF, are you interested in joining the new multicultural club? Join us in celebrating different cultures at our school.
For the first time in a long time, I felt a spark of hope ignite inside me, a determination to turn my isolation into an opportunity for change. I am Briana, and this is the PF Highlight Reel.
When everything don't go as planned, you know these hills like the back of your hand. These are the streets you came from. Mountains high and valleys low. It don't matter where you go. Don't be afraid to walk on. Sometimes you gotta do it your own way just to find that every road you run will one day lead to home. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget why you're made of. The ones who were there but no one else would care. And don't be afraid to cry now, even when the world comes crashing in. And don't forget to sing when you win.
In this episode of the PF Highlight Reel, we turn our focus to a student who has made it her mission to bring a greater multicultural awareness to PF. Meet Briana, a grade 12 student who for the past 2 years has dedicated herself to fostering understanding and unity within our school community. From organizing vibrant multicultural events to initiating meaningful conversations, Briana has truly become a driving force for positive change. Where were you born and what is your cultural background?
So, I was born in Barbados, raised as a Hindu by Guyanese parents. So that makes me Indo-Caribbean. To explain that a bit, because I was raised as a Hindu and I'm following their beliefs and traditions, as well as having Indian ancestors, that makes me Indian. And then being born in the Caribbean, as well as being a kid of Caribbean parents, well, makes me a Caribbean girl, so I'm pretty tropical.
When and why did you come to Canada?
So my maternal grandfather, I call him Nana, was diagnosed with cancer, and he was brought to Canada for treatment. And my family wanted to move here to spend as much time as possible with him. And then later down the line, my dad was offered a job, and we kind of just sealed the deal.
What were your first impressions of PF?
I honestly thought it was a shopping mall when I first came here, because comparing it to my school in Barbados, their buildings were like further apart. So normally we would have to walk across the yard to a completely different building for our next class. I would definitely say they were much stricter than PF is. For example, the way we represented ourselves was a very big deal. We did have uniforms as well. It was more like a formal dress shirt with a very formal skirt and a tie. PF is much more relaxed and less strict in a good way. Like, I appreciate the less stress that I have and making sure my hair's on point before going to school. Community-wise, it was a bit scary because I didn't see a lot of people who looked like me because the school wasn't very diverse back then. So I thought I was going to have a very hard time fitting in.
Why did you join the multicultural club?
At first, it was to meet people like me, like from the same cultural background. But as I got more involved in the club, I realized I could bring much more to the school as a member of the club.
What motivated you to get involved in promoting multicultural understandings at the school?
Okay, so when I first came here and I told everyone I was from Barbados, they would normally be like, oh, is that in North America? And I'd be like, no, and have to show them the world map and point out the little island called Barbados. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You lived on a literal island. And they'd ask me questions and I'd tell them like about the beach and my school and the people. And they found that very fascinating. They didn't judge or they didn't disrespect, they were just considerate. And that's when I realized if I wanted people to respect me for who I am, I'd first have to teach them about me. And once I do that, they'd have a different perspective to look from and appreciate.
What are some of the multicultural events that you have been involved in organizing?
One of our famous events for the Multicultural Club has been the Multicultural Food Festival, where the club members come together and make samples of foods from different cultures to share to the school. Other events that I've been involved in are the Diwali celebration and the Holi celebration.
Were there any challenges you faced while organizing these events? And if so, how did you overcome them?
One of my challenges definitely was overcoming my fear. Most of the time I would doubt myself and wonder if I was making the right decision where it came to expressing my culture. How I overcame that fear is actually all credited to my mom. She was literally like, just do it. And I was like, okay, she pushed me and encouraged me to believe in myself, and well, that's what I did.
Is there a specific moment from any of these events that stands out to you?
Definitely the Holi festival. So last year when we did the celebration, we went around to each class with a plate of powder and we explained what the festival was about and how we celebrate it. Afterwards, we encouraged anyone who wanted to come forward and celebrate with their friends. And what definitely stood out to me the most was how open they were to the festival. No one was like, I wasn't just standing in front of a class awkwardly, just holding a plate of powder. Everyone was very considerate and respectful and intrigued, and most of all, they had fun with it, which was what the festival was about.
In what way do you believe these events have contributed to a more inclusive school environment?
I believe these events have made the school more aware of the fact that our student body is more diverse than they think it is. I also think that these events have made people be more susceptible to accepting that there are different cultures around us.
You attend a Catholic school, but you yourself are Hindu. How has attending a Catholic school made you comfortable sharing your own faith practices and beliefs?
So not everyone at Patrick Fogarty is a practicing Catholic or is Catholic in general. However, PF still encourages their staff and students, for example, to partake in Christmas and Easter masses because that is their beliefs and their religion. And I think that the fact that the school is so open to sharing their culture and beliefs is what made me comfortable in sharing my culture and traditions.
How has your family supported your efforts?
They have 100% supported me in everything, especially my mom. Whenever I had any ideas for events, I would take them to my mom and she would make them better. The previous reels that Mr. Cole has done for the Diwali and Holi celebrations, my mom has sent them to all my family members, all our close family friends. She even posted it on Facebook. So I can tell how proud she is and my family is of me and what I'm doing.
Why do you think it is important to promote cultural diversity with high school students?
Well, I think high school in general is a time where teenagers are trying to learn about who they are as a person. We try so hard to figure out who we are that sometimes we forget about others. By promoting cultural diversity, it makes it easier to understand and learn about others, that hopefully it will make it easier to learn about who we are as a person. I also think promoting cultural diversity will help promote equality and discourage racism, because the reason behind these social issues is because people don't take the time to learn and understand others. Once they do that, they would be able to respect and accept that person as a whole.
What do you hope will be the impact of your efforts in the long term?
I hope that I've encouraged students to be proud of who they are and where they're from, to be proud of what they wear, the music they listen to, or the food they eat. I hope I've encouraged others to take the time to learn and understand someone as a person instead of jumping to conclusions and judging.
What skills and understandings have you developed by organizing these events, and how do you think these will benefit you in the future?
Apart from learning about different cultures, I've also understood that people have their own way of adapting to change. Maybe not so much adapting, but accepting it. Being exposed to a different culture is basically being exposed to a different way of life. I like to compare it to a recipe, for example, baking a cake. Some people might mix all of the liquid ingredients together and then put it into the flour, or some might just put everything in at once. In the end, it still makes the same cake. We may not all agree on this process of baking this cake, but we still enjoy it in the end. So, relating it to us now, we are the recipe. Our culture is the recipe. The end product is that we're all human. We don't have to agree on someone's way of living life, but we can acknowledge and respect it, and we can enjoy the presence of that person as human being. By understanding this concept, I have learned to let go of some of my grudges. It really used to upset me when people did not accept the way I was brought up or talked bad about it. It sometimes still does, but I can only give you so much information. It's up to you to treat it respectfully, right? What I'm trying to say is, now I don't let people's opinion of me, my culture, my religion stop me from being who I am and pursuing my dreams and aspirations.
What are your future aspirations?
Well, I've applied to 3 universities, all for science programs. I've been accepted to all 3 universities, so right now it's just about making a decision. Within about 8 years, I'll hopefully attain my pharmacy license, and then after a couple years of experience, open my own pharmacy. I also really want a Mustang, so I'll be working towards that too. Yeah.
What advice might you offer to a student who might be tentative about sharing their cultural background with others?
So people in general often care about what others think of them. It's not easy to open up yourself to the world, especially when you fear judgment. So my advice to you would be, embrace your difference and take the chance. Never be ashamed of who you are and where you're from, because that is what makes you unique. Be proud and walk with your head held high. There's only one of you, and one of you is enough to make a big difference.
Thank you so much, Briana, for taking the time out of your day to come talk to me. I really appreciate how much thought you put into your answers, and I really felt like I learned a lot more about you and your culture.
Well, I'm honored to be chosen, and thank you so much for having me.
Don't forget where you came from.
Yes, thank God. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. We did that.
Don't be afraid to cry now, even when the world
I'm sorry, did you hear that?
Don't forget.
What did I say after that? Briana.
Don't forget to say when you win.
I want a Mustang. I really do. I'm gonna pull up to the school and show you my Mustang, Mr.
What color Mustang?
Maybe red. It's my favorite color.
Red.
Black is really wow. It's
Black with a red interior.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Lapana mama, tell Papa come. Papa bring sweetie sugar plum and give Briana some. Play peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo.